Cool. This spot is cool. Cintas Center brings back a ton of memories for me. For 11 years in the radio booth, I called the Cincinnati Bengals games. And then during that time, for about 8 years, on television, I called Xavier Musketeer games. And then back and forth, a little work with CBS here and there. And the idea was I was probably going to end up leaving Cincinnati and moving on to doing national stuff, play-by-play, and probably would have to find another spot for that. And then something changed right around a year ago, when my bosses came to me and said, "We'd like you to make a change. I know you've been doing this sports thing here since 1996, but we need to make some changes at the television station, and we'd like you to step out of the sports chair and into the news chair." I said, no, this isn't really what I want to do. This is what I want to do. I want to do the sports stuff and move on to a national thing, and I'm doing a lot of this stuff with CBS, and I think this is where I'm supposed to go. And they said, "I think this is where you're supposed to go." My wife and I had about 72 hours to make a decision as to whether or not I was going to move from the sports chair to the news chair. She had been offered a full-time job teaching math at Mason Middle School, and she had, at that same time, 72 hours to make a decision. And we made a decision together. She took the job that she did not want to take because she thought it was better for the family. And I took the job that I did not want to take because I thought it was better for the family, but I didn't think I was going to be trending anymore. I mean, sports was the cool thing. Going into the news end, that was boring stuff. And the very first story that came to me when I took over that news chair very reluctantly was a call from a guy named Bear. Bear is the coach of Mount St. Joe's women's basketball team. I didn't know Bear, but he knew somebody that I worked with who said, "Brad, you got to talk to this guy. He's got a story that I think you need to tell." Remember, first story brought to me the time that I moved to the news desk. Bear said, "I got this girl that's got brain cancer. She's not going to make it. She knows she's going to die. She's on my team. I'm trying to get her to play in a college basketball game because she wants to play at the next level before she dies." I said, "Wow, that's a pretty powerful story." He said, "I don't think you know the half of it." And I didn't. On October 1st of last year, I met Lauren Hill and her family. And that trending decision that I made changed my life because of this one girl, who then, with the stories that we were able to tell, changed the world. This is the story of Lauren Hill. We introduced you to Lauren Hill just after her 19th birthday. We were at the impromptu post-practice surprise party.
When I got home, I told my parents that I was going to wear it around underneath all my clothes like it's a superhero uniform. Days like this. Because it just reminds me of being strong. Like to stay as strong as I was back then.
The back then was her as a Lawrenceburg High School Tiger. Basketball had become her passion, but only because her soccer coach cut her as a goalie in her senior year, after not allowing a goal in her junior year. And she wrote a paper for English 101 entitled, "When Everything Changed."
Life isn't fair. People will always have things happen to them that will knock them down, but it's bouncing back to one's feet that's the most important part.
So basketball it was, and on her 18th birthday, she committed to play at Mount St. Joe.
And I was like, man, I gotta make a memory. Like on my birthday, I gotta make a good memory that I can go back and remember. And I decided that that was the night I was gonna call the coach and confirm that I was coming to the Mount to play.
The terminal diagnosis followed 49 days later. DIPG, diffused intrinsic pontine glioma. Number 22 was given 2 years maximum to live. When everything changed, in the brain, but not in the heart.
Motto is never give up. Not that she ever did before, so I wouldn't imagine that it would change
It
now.
hadn't changed much,
But she's still never giving up.
I never for a second thought about sitting down and like just not living life anymore.
And live she did, with purpose. Her doctor said she could be the face of DIPG, a cancer that usually strikes children between 5 to 8. At first it didn't really make sense to her, but after one particularly passionate prayer session in January, it became clear that she needed to be the voice for the children who couldn't articulate the frustration and the futility that she was feeling.
Because I was desperate, and I would ask God that, I didn't want to be another local story that disappeared and I just became another statistic on a paper. And I prayed that God would keep me there, and if he kept me, I would do anything I could to be the voice for little kids.
So Lauren began her journey, holding fundraisers and speaking out about the ravaging disease inside her head. But not many noticed until basketball season approached and a new MRI.
I knew in the back of my mind that it had grown.
What did she say?
Just, there's nothing they really do say, because I can't do anything.
Given until December to live, Lauren was determined to play college basketball, at least one game. After Hiram College agreed to give up a home game and the NCAA granted an exemption, the game was moved to November 2nd.
She's put her teammates first, she's put her family first. And just to give her that one last wish would be incredible from our program and our players.
When we told Lauren's story, it became a goal not for Lauren or for her coach or her teammates. It became a goal for Cincinnati and then the nation to see Lauren play. The game moved to the Cintas Center, sold out to 10,000 fans in less than an hour. And on November 2nd, Lauren Hill played college basketball.
The screen comes, the ball goes down to Lauren Hill, and the layup is good. A layup for Lauren. And number 22, we will remember that layup forever.
One layup to open the game.
The rebound, Dennis, back to Lauren. She goes back up and got it.
And one to close it. She, of course, corrected me during the broadcast.
Let's not call it my last game.
You want to go some more?
This is my first collegiate game.
She would play in 4 games before calling it a career, including a pair on the floor where she dreamed about squeaking those shoes. The Harrington Center of Mount St. Joe. 5 baskets in all. Her point total, a perfect 10. Lauren had a goal to raise awareness and cancer research funding.
DIPG has taken away way too many lives, but now with your help, you can do Layup for Lauren's challenge.
And that superhero that she wanted to feel like was born. Network interviews, international celebrity. Lauren was making good on everything she said she would.
I'm just so happy that it's having this big of an impact. And I want to thank everyone for donating and helping research.
The face for DIPG, the voice for the voiceless children, and the name behind the donations to fight the battle against pediatric cancer.
I'm not fighting for myself. I'm fighting for others, and I'm fighting for the future. Because if we find a cure for DIPG, the home run cure, we can cure all cancers.
On February 6th, in a private ceremony for family, teammates, and friends, Lauren was presented with an honorary doctorate of humane letters from Mount St. Joe's. The Doctor of Humanity at 19 seemed appropriate.
You have accomplished much, even more than most of us here could imagine accomplishing in our own lives.
She was a huge gift from God, and if he takes her back, then we'll have to deal with it. But why we had her for 19 years, she was ours.
From the time I met her until the time she left us, Lauren Hill changed very little. The cancer changed her appearance, but it couldn't change her heart or her desire to serve others and make a real difference. She became my good friend, and I love her.
When I leave, that's why I'm not scared. I'm scared for everybody else, like my family, and how they'll handle it. I know they'll be fine.
Goodbye, 22. You were a hell of a player, and when you came along, that's when everything changed.
Let's just absorb it in. Listen to him chant.
So this 19-year-old vaulted onto the international stage. Everyone became aware of 22. The world kind of fell in love with her. She had no idea that she would make this impact, but she was desperate to get her voice out there. She was desperate to make her time count. Her courage and her fight brought attention to a little-known cancer nobody knew of, DIPG, before Lauren, or very few people did. And not all of our struggles are going to be against death. Drugs, violence, bullying. For all of us, there is something that makes that huge impact. And we wonder, how can one person make a difference? Lauren Hill was the poster child of that. I want to introduce you to a woman who has become part of my family in a very short period of time and will last with me to the end of days. Lauren's mother, Lisa Hill.
Hi, everyone.
Let's sit and chat.
All right, we'll sit and chat.
Not that we haven't done this a million times before. We sit here, and it was only a year ago, and it seems like lifetimes through this time.
Yeah.
We've talked many times about her getting the story out. Lauren wasn't the stand in front of the class girl, was she, before all of this? Explain who she was before the world became to know her.
Lauren was pretty shy and quiet, believe it or not. Very studious, committed to whatever she did, athletics or academic-wise, 110%. But in classroom, she was focused on getting her schoolwork done so she could be free to do sports. And at sports, she was just totally focused on that. And people that horsed around at practice was not her.
What did she want to be?
Lauren wanted to go into sports medicine or like physical therapy, some kind of athletic trainer, that kind of thing. She knew what it was like to be injured, so she felt like she'd be able to give meaning and purpose for those who have to sit on the bench.
So service was kind of always in her when she said, you know what, this sucks for me, I don't want it to suck for somebody else.
Yeah, pretty much.
Diagnosis day. Most people would be 18 years old, crushed to say, I just want to let you know you have brain cancer, and at maximum you have 2 years to live. How did Lauren react to the diagnosis?
Why Brent and I weren't feeling so well after the news, she pretty much grilled the physicians right away with all kinds of questions, and the first one was, can I still play basketball? Going into her senior year, it's your senior year, you know how it is. You're gonna be rule of the roost, and she had played sports all this time, and she was gonna be the thing on the team that drove them to that winning season finally and got them over that hump, because they weren't doing so well before that, but they had been building up each year. So she was determined that she was playing on the team and she was gonna head the girls to a win.
So, was there ever a why me moment, and I'm going to sit back and I'm just going to let this pass and nobody's going to know about it?
She did have a few down moments, like why me? Why did this happen? Some dark times where she would cry, but we were trying to find the light in every moment, the purpose in everything you do. There's a greater purpose. I truly believe that. You just have to look for the signs of it. And Lauren just prayed about it really hard and woke up one day and decided that she was gonna be the voice for these younger kids and hopefully get awareness out there and research money that was desperately needed. She knew that there would not be any hope for her to see it because it always takes years for the process to go through, but she was driven that someday she would help kids not have to face the same thing she was facing and give them hope for their future.
We talked about this, that as she became that voice, there were many stories. She did a few things here and there, and then October 13th, a year ago, we aired this, and life changed. 900,000 hits overnight, and international attention. Did Lauren ever change when the call came? Because it became a calling for her to be this international face of DIPG.
Lauren pretty much, she just went through one step at a time, really. She had one dream, and that was to play college ball. So although that was her ultimate dream, she just went with the flow, used the platform to spread awareness and raise research money and make sure that everybody knows how bad DIPG is and how much we need a change. And I can remember when I watched that video back, just a tidbit of information, but when I hugged her at the end, I remember saying, I am so proud of you, because she took her dream, what she had a passion to do, but turned it into something so much bigger and inspired everybody. And I think, like for you guys being young and in the same shoes, you're gonna have obstacles that are gonna get in your way, that are gonna get you down, that are gonna make you think that you're gonna fail or that you can't succeed. But like Lauren, it's digging deep, finding your core and who you are, true to yourself, and saying nothing's gonna stop me and I'm going to keep going. And that's exactly what she did.
Money kind of trickled in. And I kind of had this idea. I said, how about we do this layup for Lauren? You remember how mad she was at me that day that we created that?
Oh, yeah, she was mad.
She was not feeling good. Lauren was not feeling good. I said, we're going to do this layup for Lauren thing, and we're going to try and create something. We're going to see if we can raise $1 million.
That's Lauren's layup.
Yeah, layup for Lauren.
No, it was Lauren's layup.
Lauren's layup. Yeah, it was Lauren's layup.
At least when you videotaped it, like a multitude of times, she
That's
kept
right.
going, it's Lauren's layup.
She couldn't say it. Could not get it out. And do you remember the thought of the idea of trying to raise $1 million? I think you said, well, behind my back, I know what you said.
Yeah, I didn't think that was, we all doubted her. It's a big goal, you guys. $1 million is a big goal. So it was like, okay, we'll go for it. And I didn't really think it was attainable.
And where are we at now?
1.7?
$1.7 million raised. And I should probably, this seems appropriate to break the news at this time, right? That
Sure.
on November 13th, all of the stations in Cincinnati will get together for more than a day to put together a telethon.
22 hours.
22 hours. We are going to get $2.2 million before the annual Lauren Hill tip-off on November 14th, right back here at the Cintas Center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
I think the message is clear, but I don't know whether I didn't grow up in Lauren's house, but it feels like Lauren was part of my family. It's kind of what happened in all of this. It's not what a news reporter's supposed to do. I did break all of the rules. You're not supposed to get emotionally involved. There's not an easy day for you, but you believe that Lauren left you with a mission. Mm-hmm. You want to share anything as we close this up?
I recently started working for the Cure Starts Now, so I felt like it was my mission and purpose to carry on hers. Hopefully, I know it's kind of a crazy dream, but I hope I'm out of a job in 5 years, and I'll be perfectly okay with that. But to make sure that another parent doesn't have to hear that their child's gonna pass, or another child doesn't have to hear that, would be the biggest blessing ever. And ultimately, to find a cure for all cancers, there's probably not a person in this room whose family has not been touched by some type of cancer. So to wipe that out would just put a big smile on my face, and I'm sure quite a few others.
Lisa, thanks. I'll wrap this up with a thought that Lauren shared with me as we sat before Christmas. She said, I said, you know, your dad's mad because he keeps trying to get a Christmas list from you guys. And Lauren said, I told Dad, go ahead and be mad at me, Dad. There is no Christmas list. I just want time. She said, I want time with my family. I want time with my friends. I want people to put their phones down. I want people to put their iPads down. I want people to turn the television off. I want people. I want time. You guys have time today. Lauren didn't know when she was going to get another day. So she used every day to make a difference. That's why you're here today. You're leaders. This thing my wife says to our youngest every day when he goes off to school, my 7-year-old, she says, what are you going to be today? She says, I'm going to be a leader, not a follower. Lauren was a leader. And we can follow leaders. Lisa continues to push on, to lead the charge. It doesn't have to be cancer, but there is something in your life that you can lead with, that you can trend set with, that doesn't have to be noticed by everybody because you're cool. It's noticed by those who want to follow. Thanks for being here today. Big hand for Lisa Hill.